Hebron Cemetery is located in the ghost town of Hebron on Shoal Creek in Washington County, southwestern Utah. Hebron was inhabited from 1862 until 1902, when the already declining town was mostly destroyed by a 6.0 earthquake. The present-day city of Enterprise, which lies 6 miles to the east of where Hebron stood, was settled largely by people leaving Hebron. The area was explored in 1862 by a group of men led by John and Charles Pulsifer, who were herding livestock owned by the LDS Church. They were favorably impressed with the Shoal Creek area and decided it would be a good place to settle with their families. Encouraged by the local Paiutes, the pioneers brought their families and organized a ranching community called Shoal Creek. A small fort was built there in 1866 when the outbreak of the Black Hawk War caused a widespread fear of Indian attacks. The larger community of Clover Valley, located in the Clover Valley of present-day Nevada, was evacuated and its residents moved to the Shoal Creek Fort. Gardens and fodder grew well, and the settlement began to thrive. It became an important source of supplies for the silver mining camps of eastern Nevada, particularly Pioche, and later for nearby Silver Reef, Utah. In 1867, a large log schoolhouse was built. In the spring of 1867, Elizabeth Hunt, wife of James W. Hunt, taught school. But she was soon replaced by Mary Ann Terry, a young woman of 18. In 1868, LDS apostle Erastus Snow came to form a congregation. The population at that time was 75. Snow directed the surveying of a formal town site which John Pulsifer named for the biblical town Hebron. Hebron became a fast-growing town. Soon it had a hotel, several stores, freight offices, and at least 12 homes. In the fall of 1872, the Deseret telegraph lines were extended from St. George, Utah to Pioche, Nevada by way of Hebron. A telegraph office was set up in Bishop Crosby's home, with Daniel M. Tyler serving as the first operator. U.S. mail was coming to Hebron from Cedar City, Utah, once a month. Around 1872, that increased to once a week. Shortly after that, it was increased to twice a week and extended on to Clover Valley, now Barclay, and Pioche, Nevada. When Silver Reef started to boom, mail was increased to once a day each way. Mail was carried on a one-horse buckboard at the time.
You have arrived.
With the exception of Hebron Cemetery, most of Hebron ruins lie on private property. If you look around to the sides, you might be able to see some of the rubble. It's really hard to discern, but along fence lines you can see just a little bit. Hebron, Utah Cemetery. Perry Huntsman, born 1817, died 19... I can't tell, 1970. Riley Huntsman. Old Hebron was here we go, pioneer settlement. Let's see how old these are. It's a ghost town now. It's all private property, so. Josephine Huntsman, doesn't say what year, died in 1868. Some of them are just old wood posts. Yeah, that used to be the town over there. It's all private property now. A lot of children. We'll get a couple more. They must have had some money. Prudence McNamara Post. Very cool. Sitting at an elevation of 5,476 feet, Hebron's greatest obstacles had to do with water. Originally planned as a ranching community, Hebron lacked sufficient water for the irrigation of substantial farms. A wooden flume was built to bring water from a nearby spring to water Hebron's farms, but it collapsed due to excessively wet weather in 1885. One of the former Clover Valley farmers, named Orson Huntsman, proposed to build a large reservoir on Shoal Creek, but the plan was controversial and received little support from his neighbors. In 1891, Huntsman had a 320-acre town site surveyed below the proposed reservoir site. Then he filed a desert land entry on the land, which he called Enterprise. After some 3 years of seeking investors, he organized a formal company to construct the reservoir in 1893. Hebron's leaders responded by building a new, longer aqueduct with additional dams, ditches, and roads. They tried to keep water and residents from flowing from Hebron to Enterprise, but families began to move where the farming prospects were better. On November 17, 1902, Hebron was severely damaged by a magnitude 6.0 earthquake centered at Pine Valley. Most of the rock homes in Hebron were irreparably ruined, and the exodus to Enterprise accelerated. On January 11, 1903, the men of Hebron met to discuss moving to Enterprise. Over the next months, it was decided that Hebron residents should make the move. The rest of Hebron's residents moved, selling their water rights to Enterprise Reservoir Company. In 1904, what was left of the town of Hebron sold all remaining water rights. The departing residents tore down the damaged buildings for the materials, leaving only rubble and a small cemetery. On October 19, 1905, at a ward conference, the name of the Hebron ward was changed to the Enterprise Ward, essentially ending the town of Hebron. Here are some population numbers that many sources agree happened in Hebron. 1868, population 75. 1870, population 111. 1880, population 110. 1890, population 79. And 1900, population 100.
In 600 feet, turn left onto Utah 219 East.
Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed learning about the town of Hebron, Utah.
Take the next left onto Utah 219 East. Continue for 17 miles.